Thank you, everybody, for joining. This is the final session of our 2020-2021 Worksite Wellness Virtual Workshop Series. And today we're going to be doing a great discussion with some of our Worksite Wellness Award winners and recognizing everybody's efforts for Worksite Wellness in 2020. We really wanted to focus the session on lessons learned during the pandemic and worksite wellness during the pandemic, because it obviously affected the way worksite wellness took place during that year. There's so many things that I'm sure worksites are going to continue to do, lessons learned that they will continue to modify their way of delivery, their policies, programs, all of that. So we wanted to focus our session on talking about that. So we have three great presenters with us, Sandy, Ashley, and Karen. And we are going to do some discussion and then breakout sessions, and then come back to the main room for some more discussions, and then another set of breakouts. So that's kind of the outline of the agenda. Before we start, I want to thank our session sponsor for today, Northeast Delta Dental. And our tech sponsor, the Richards Group. Sarah, Sarah, you there from Delta Dental? I'm going to hand it over to you.
What'd you say?
I'm going to hand it over to you.
Great. Well, thank you, Ashwini, and everyone joining us today. I just want to start by congratulating the 2021 Worksite Wellness Award winners. We have been a sponsor of the Vermont Worksite Wellness Conference for the last several years, and we're really honored to support today's workshop and award recognition. So most of you know us as an insurance company, but we actually do think of ourselves at Delta Dental as a wellness company. In fact, our mission is to advance the oral health and overall wellness of not just our customers, but the general public by providing innovative benefits and professional partnerships through diversified strategic business and philanthropic initiatives. I've gotten some feedback over the years that we really should better promote our philanthropy. So I just wanted to take a moment to share the support that we've provided just in the last year. We donated to community health centers in Plainfield, Battenkill Valley, and Windham County, in addition to supporting free dental services and the Department of Health's tutor program with Head Start. And to support education and training, we give to UVM Health Network's dental residency program, the Center for Technology at Essex Dental Hygiene Program, and the Vermont State Dental Society's recruitment efforts to bring new dentists into the state. On the insurance side, all of our dental plans include our Health Through Oral Wellness program. Hopefully you've heard of, we call it HOW for short. HOW seeks to improve and maintain good oral health by customizing benefits to patients' risks and needs. And the HOW program provides additional preventive benefits to patients that need it and increases employee engagement. So we really do believe that better oral health leads to better overall health and a happier and more productive workforce. In addition to dental coverage, I'm excited to announce that we now offer Delta Vision, an insured vision plan that can be easily added to your employee benefit package for very little cost. So in closing, I'd just like to thank you for your dedication to Worksite Wellness. You really all should be commended for your wellness efforts, especially during such a challenging year. And I'm really looking forward to hearing about the lessons learned and best practices in the future.
Thank you so much, Sarah, and thank you again to Delta Dental. They've been a great sponsor and partner in this conference for many years now, and their support has been amazing. I'm going to go over to Lindsay, the Richards Group, our technology sponsor for this whole series.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. I'm so happy to be here with you on this day of celebrating the hard and good work that you've done over the past year to support employees through the pandemic. I'm really looking forward to the stories that are shared this morning and learning from our best practice spokespeople. So we have been the technology sponsor throughout this series. It's something that it's a strategy we really invest in for our clients, whether those are employee benefits clients, commercial insurance clients, or our individual personal insurance clients. We do have locations all over the state. It's a family-owned, longtime business in the state, and we're really pleased to work with a lot of employers in Vermont. Just want to share a little bit about how we're really walking the walk at the Richards Group in terms of our own employee wellness. We've invested heavily there with awesome leadership support. One of our favorite strategies has been a Beat the Executive Team challenge in the summer, where we put all our executives onto a team, and then everyone else makes teams to try to beat them with steps over a period of the time for that physical activity challenge. It's generated a lot of fun and energy. So that's just one example of how we're walking the walk. And in terms of our benefits clients, we're really investing there too. We've added a new person to help me in this role. Mari Walsh is on the line this morning as well. Maybe give a little wave there, Mari. So employee wellness services are part of what we offer for benefits clients. It's included in that work for you. And we're also available to provide that to non-clients if you're ever interested in how we can help you with your employee wellness strategy. So again, technology is the way we're leading, and also supporting the well-rounded benefits for your employees to keep them happy, well, and engaged in the work they do. So thanks for being here today, and I'm looking forward again to hearing these stories today.
Thanks so much, Lindsay. And hello, Mari. It's great to have both of you on today. Thank you again to the Richards Group for supporting the technology behind making this whole session, or this whole series of sessions, possible. All right, so we are going to, because we want to make sure we have time for discussion, we're going to keep some of the, we're going to send out a few things as follow-up. So one of those things is going to be this list of all of the Worksite Wellness Award winners. I'm going to display it now just so everybody can see all of the employers that received a 2021 Worksite Wellness Award. And then several of these Worksite Wellness Award winners also sent a digital poster, or a slide, really, because of the way we're doing it this year, to highlight some of their successes from last year. So that will be sent out and also available on our website. So everybody will get a follow-up email on how to access that, so that you'll be able to read a little bit more about what each of these employers did. And again, I'll send out the full list as well, so you could take a look at all of that. These are our smaller employers, 100 or fewer employees that won an award. I'm not going to read everything off, but I just want everybody to see that. A lot of medium employers in Vermont winning the 2021 Worksite Wellness Award. So congratulations to all of these employers. Just give a second for everybody to just take a look at that. And I am looking forward to the day where we can recognize everybody in person again with a real award ceremony and not just a slide, but this will have to do for now. But congratulations again to everybody. And here are our large employers, and a photo there from Northeast Kingdom Human Services of some wellness taking place during the pandemic. I'll give everyone another second to take a look at our large award winners, large employers. And then Governor Scott was not able to join us this morning, but I am going to bear with me for 1 second. I am gonna do a video that he sent congratulating all of the award winners. So there may be it may be a little bit choppy, but we're going to get, depending on what permission we're granted, we are going to share this video after the fact as well. We did a lot of test runs, and it's just playing video through Zoom. It's not been perfect. So I apologize for any choppiness that you may experience. Can everybody see that? Just someone shout out if you can see that.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Good afternoon, and thanks for inviting me to the 27th Annual Worksite Wellness Awards. Over the past year, we've all faced incredible challenges. I know for many of you, this has been the hardest year of your lives. We've worked through restrictions, economic uncertainty, and concern for the health and safety of our families, employees, and coworkers. But I've been so inspired by the creativity and ingenuity I've seen as you faced each challenge head on. Businesses are the backbone of our state, serving not only their employees, but their families and communities as well. So I want to thank each and every one of you for your strength and grit over the past year. As someone who believes in the benefits of fitness and health, I always appreciate when our employers support and promote wellness, but especially this year, as physical and mental health have been something that's on our minds more than ever. Wellness, which includes physical, mental, and emotional health, continues to play a critical role as we recover from this pandemic and can't be overlooked, which is why I'm so glad to be a part of the program honoring you today. You've all gone above and beyond to take care of your employees, adapting quickly, keeping them and their families safe, and helping them navigate the personal challenges of COVID-19, all while supporting their overall health and wellness. I believe this is the Vermont way, and people from other states often find it strange, but it's in our nature. We care about one another. We believe in strong communities, and our businesses believe in treating their employees like family, and that's just what you've done. So today, I want to honor the 71 workplaces receiving this award, who come from a wide range of sectors, including schools, banks, utilities, nonprofits, retailers, manufacturers, and many more. And I also want to thank our teams at the Department of Health and the Governor's Council on Physical Fitness for working with organizations across the state to meet the needs of Vermonters. As we recover and rebuild, it's going to take all of us working together to help keep our workforce strong and resilient. And I believe each of you will continue to play a critical role in this, as you have over the many years. So again, congratulations to those honored today. I look forward to seeing you in person someday soon.
All right, I hope that came through okay. And again, I will share that as well after with our email. I'll let people know how they can access it to view it again. All right, so we are going to launch into our discussion. We have 3 primary discussion questions, and we're going to have 2 opportunities for breakout sessions. So what we will start with is, I'm going to actually go ahead, I'll read the question out and then I'll put it into the chat box as well. And then we can start with Sandy from Mount Ascutney Hospital and Health Center. If each of the presenters can just do a really quick introduction with their name, where they work, and their role before they start sharing. And we're going to have about 5 minutes per presenter for each question. All right, so the first question is, what was the primary lesson your organization learned about employee wellness in 2020?
Good morning, everybody. My name is Sandy Dion. I am the Employee Wellness Manager at Mount Ascutney Hospital, which is a 25-bed critical access hospital within the Dartmouth-Hitchcock Health System Partnership, located in Windsor, Vermont, which is about 20 minutes or so south of White River Junction. And I have to say, as I was listening to the governor's speech just then, boy, I could relate to that, in that when I think to what lessons have we learned over the past year, to me, just there's nothing more fundamental to our organizational wellness efforts or employee well-being than our basic human need for physical and psychological safety, right? And so some examples for our organization, we really put a lot of emphasis on supporting our staff in these areas in particular. And so for physical safety, I'm sure we can all relate, right? The increased use of PPE and the social distancing and environmental changes in terms of plexiglass and things like that to help maintain patient and employee safety. But for us, the big change in that arena was related to the formal introduction to our remote workforce. That was brand new to us. And I have to say, I'm going to put a shout out to my colleagues, both within the DH system partnership, but also my colleague, Lindsay Simpson at the Richards Group, for all their help and collaboration on how to roll out that new work environment that's been so well received by our staff. Psychological safety, there's two main examples. Number one, more than ever, our administration really focused on clear, consistent, and transparent communication, right? There's nothing more anxiety provoking than just fear of the unknown. So having them send out regular, weekly, or even daily communications on information based on data in real time was really helpful to keep those fears at bay. And second was what Governor Scott just referred to, the fear of economic insecurity. And as our departments within the hospital started to close based on precautions, our administration really worked hard to ease anxiety in that space by job restructuring. So when it came down to it, we all were able to unite toward the common goal that we're in this together, and we did whatever we had to do. Suddenly our job titles kind of went aside, and we had people from our lab suddenly become screeners at the door, or our PT and OT staff were cross-trained to become housekeepers or LNAs. We really put our titles aside to unite, keep our doors open, take great care of our patients and one another, and ultimately keep everybody employed. So the lessons learned for us were, again, we're all in the wellness industry. And for us in particular, it was just a great reminder that not to forget the basics. Ashwini, I think you're muted.
Sorry, guys. I clearly need more coffee today. I thank you so much, Sandy. I forgot to mention, if you do have questions for the panelists or just general questions, just put those into the chat box. We are going to do our best to get to Q&A at the very end. And if we don't, we will use email like we have done in the past to get responses to everybody. So Janet and Gail are helping to monitor that chat box. So please send those questions along. Thank you so much, Sandy. We will move to Karen from Evernorth. If you could do a quick introduction and then respond to the question, what was the primary lesson your organization learned about employee wellness in 2020?
Good morning. My name is Karen Patno and I work for Evernorth. Evernorth was formerly Housing Vermont, and I'm the HR manager. We have two offices, one in Burlington and one in Portland, Maine. And we were a little crazy because we did a merger in the middle of all this and became Evernorth. The lessons learned, the things that we learned were when we used to have our staff meetings prior to the pandemic, we would be in a big conference room. Portland would be in their big conference room. You could hardly see anyone. You had no idea who was talking. And we really didn't know each other because we were just going to meet each other when the pandemic happened. So the Monday before the governor shut us down, we realized what was happening, and we had already made the decision to send everyone home to work remotely. And it was, how are we going to keep everyone together in two states and still do work. So we moved to how can we keep people safe? How can we keep people connected and engaged? And how can we make sure that people we're not seeing on a daily basis are not suffering a mental health crisis or some other stressful thing that we aren't seeing because we're not seeing them in the office. So the first thing we did was jump on Zoom like everyone else, and suddenly our weekly staff meetings became Zoom meetings every week. The next thing we did is our communication staff developed a weekly newsletter, and the newsletter had resources, had information about COVID, how to stay safe, recipes to stay healthy, links to free online fitness classes, things that just help promote overall well-being. And we quickly realized we had to become very flexible because suddenly we had parents with children who are no longer in school. They're trying to work and make sure they could teach their children, and that they often had a spouse who's also trying to work, sometimes in very small spaces. Some people lived in, very small homes, and, the work was the kitchen table where everyone is coming and going while they're trying to work. So it was a matter of supporting our staff with flex time so that people could work alternate schedules, or, one spouse could be watching children for a while they work, and then they would switch off. Sometimes someone had to watch children longer because of meetings. And, maybe they're working in the evening. Maybe they're working very early in the morning. It was a lesson learned, and one that we will carry through as we look to bringing people back into the office. What does that look like? What's the hybrid schedule look like? How can we support people? It's very important to support all people. There were people who were caregivers for their elderly parents. Suddenly they're being told don't go see them, but they need to drop off food to them. They need to pick up medicine for them. Sometimes they need to do that during the day because of limited hours, limited supplies. So it's all in the ways that you can support your staff and help them through this very unusual time, but it also made us grow. The one thing that's come out of it is everyone likes being on a Zoom meeting because it puts everyone for the staff meeting on the same level, and it's no longer this person in this room or that person in that room. Everybody is just, it's a picture, everyone can speak up, who is talking. And it actually brought the staff closer together in the two offices because we really had only met one time. And now we were able to be with people lots of time. And it's shown that organizations can pivot on a dime when they need to, and that we rise up to meet the needs of our staff and make sure they stay well, both mentally and physically, in a different time.
That's great. Thank you so much, Karen. And Ashley from Vispit, question 1, what the primary lesson your organization learned about employee wellness in 2020?
Hi there, I'm Ashley Ann Johnson, and I'm here today on behalf of Visbit, Vermont School Board Insurance Trust, and PATH, Planned Action Towards Health. And PATH is the employee wellness program for participating member school districts and supervisory unions. So we service school staff, contracted employees like food service and bus drivers, and as well as about 15,000 people in total participate in our wellness program. And that also includes retired educators as well. So I will attempt to share my screen. We'll do my best. So with PATH, as I said, we were serving school employees at a time that was really chaotic for them. And they were constantly having to change with guidance, and were very quickly removed to remote situations and just trying to juggle everything that came with that. And we were hearing from our people that stress and anxiety was a really big issue for them. And as their employee wellness program, we do offer year-round programming, and we knew that our services would be helpful to them. We just had to figure out how we could get it. And on a normal day, especially with school staff's busy schedules, it's already a challenge to carve out time for exercise, proper nutrition, and enough sleep. And then when you throw a global pandemic on top of it, that fleeting level of self-care is just no longer a priority for them. And with stress and anxiety, we just realized that social connection just played a larger role in our emotional well-being and personal wellness than we honestly realized. Even at our own office, we quickly realized how being with each other improved our own wellness, whether it was an accountability buddy or just somebody to talk to and work through things. So just time and social connection we needed to somehow replicate in our current setting. And our mission at PATH is to help our members be their best selves at home, at work, and in their community. And again, as I mentioned, we have about 15,000 people who participate in our program, but that's only about half of all total school staff. And those people also participate in our program. They might just do it not on an active basis. So again, kind of what we took away was the lack of time and how can we make this easier? So what we had to start focusing our attention on was what do our members need? And they were pretty good at voicing what those needs were on just how can we make life easier for them in coping with their stress and anxiety. And then how can we make it easier for them to access these resources? And that was really important to us. Where we already had this great programming, we just needed to figure out the best way to share it with our participants when they're already experiencing screen fatigue and want to step away from their computers, especially in an online learning setting. So just how can we make things easier for them when everything else is so hard?
Okay, unmute. Thank you. Everyone had a good discussion. I was just saying how it's a little nerve-wracking to do these breakout rooms because everyone's just going off and I have no way of kind of knowing what's going on in each room. So I can only hope that things are going okay. I did see that some of the rooms, because we pre-assigned people and not everybody's able to actually attend live. So some of the rooms I will maybe adjust because it looked like had only maybe 2 or 3 people in a room, whereas others were a little bit bigger. So I will try to adjust that for our second breakout sessions. We are going to go into our next discussion question, which I will put in the chat box after I read it out loud. And then this time we will start with Karen from Evernorth. So the second question for the panelists is describe 1 to 2 changes your organization made to your policy or guidelines in 2020 that you plan to continue. So this could be a directly wellness program or wellness initiative related policy, or it could be something that impacts wellness like flex time. So we'll start with Karen this time.
Hello again. So, I spoke a little bit about this, that we supported our staff with the flex time and why we needed to do it because daycare is closed, schools closed, and those kind of things. And going forward, we will still have a policy, which we're working on now, around hybrid work schedules, flexible work schedules, things to support whether you're the caregiver, whether you're, a parent. Everybody has some need, and just trying to help people be able to participate more. There's a workout class you want to attend at 10 o'clock in the morning. You should be able to go to it. You don't, take that time and go do it with that favorite instructor that you like, whether it's virtual, whether you're going to the YMCA or another place. So, being more flexible has been really something new and for a larger organization. As I said, we recently merged and, suddenly with our new hires and everything else, we're 45, 46 people. We used to be 25 and when we were housing Vermont. So it's been wrapping our arms around everyone and looking at the whole group and seeing what they need. The other part is we always would take walks with people when we were working in the office, you know, as a coworker. Sometimes they wanted to talk about something. Sometimes it was something else. Now it's the intentional effort to be outdoors more. Some people found some really unique places to meet and have either one-on-ones or meeting with their whole staff. It was sometimes there's a place in Waitsfield that they like to go to that has a pavilion, and they can all socially distance and have lunch. You know, they all get their own food or bring their food. They've met in people, a lot of our people live on wild land, so they have very large backyards. They've met at picnic tables that they've found. They've taken hikes together and with their mask and their dogs, and, you know, talk about with their manager about what they needed to do and things like that. Those things will all continue, and they're built into our plan so that people can leave the office, go meet someone, go do an activity together, or a group, you know, a whole department goes and leaves and does something together. And just get people outdoors and thinking about different things. And in the winter, it was a little more of a challenge, but people still did it. We had a lot of people that did winter hikes with spikes on, and people that met and did things. So I think that those things are really important. Plus we do community gardens at our housing partnerships. And we actually stepped it up during the pandemic and built more of them so that our community had access to resources as well. And that is something that will continue going forward. And when we're all able, our offices will participate in building them again and making sure they're planted and helping bring the resources in to do those things.
Thank you, Karen. We'll go to Ashley next.
We were fortunate at Visbit to already have a really flexible work schedule and hybrid workplace in place. We were already able to work from home a few days a week, and obviously that changed when we all had to work from home a few days a week, so all week. And so we're going to change our policy. We're in the process of still writing that, since most of us are still working from home. A few of us get some office time. So we already had, as I mentioned, a fairly flexible schedule. We have core hours we have to meet, but as long as you make up your time elsewhere and our members' needs are met, that's really our primary goal, is a good work-life balance. And leadership was very understanding during the shutdown that some of us had kids at home who were either remote learning or just running around being crazy, and some of us care for parents or other relatives, and there was just a lot of struggle with work-life balance. So fortunately, leadership was really understanding and supportive during that time, and continues to be, especially with daycare challenges or school schedule challenges, or again, just caring for other family members. So updating the policy, still in progress, but right now we're still, most of us are still working from home at this time. And as of what we do for work, a lot of what Visbit and PATH do requires us to be in the physical school buildings and central offices. So that stopped completely during the shutdown, and we had to get really creative, and we came up with some virtual trainings and virtual workshops, and whether it was through Zoom or Google Meets, we got pretty familiar with most of them and how to best do it, and to still maintain our level of participation with these workshops when we know our participants have Zoom fatigue and screen fatigue at the time. So we usually hold a lot of in-person conferences throughout the year, and those we decided to make them virtual trainings instead that were self-paced, which meant it worked for everybody's schedule. So we had great completion rates on those trainings, and we'll probably keep those as an option in the future, especially for those who can't attend our physical conferences, because we had such great feedback and we felt it was really received well, and that they were able to learn from those virtual trainings just as much as they would at our in-person conferences. So flexible work schedule policy in the works, and just our virtual training options was great. And we plan to keep those as well.
Thanks, Ashley. And then Sandy.
Same as my colleagues, you know, I'm, if you can see me, my head's kind of doing this as everybody's talking, but yeah, we as well, Karen, the remote workforce was new for us. The difference is the mass majority of employees at Mount Scottney Hospital are clinical. So even at our highest, we only had about 10% of our workforce working remotely. We're down to about 5% now, but the opportunity really opened our eyes for the value that both Karen and Ashley said in terms of work-life balance, the flex time, and what that does for overall employee well-being, but also from a recruitment and retention space allocation strategy for our organization. It really helped open our eyes in where that may lead in the future. Some of the other things that changed this past year that we'll definitely plan on continuing is, one example is from our cafeteria. So I'll put a plug in for my fellow wellness committee members from Sodexo. You know, they've done a great job providing us with a cafeteria on site that is just full of their mindful, healthy choices. One staff favorite in particular is just our robust salad bar that we have every day. And one of the challenges that we had historically as a committee or as an organization is our poor night shift or our off-site staff really didn't have access to all of that great, you know, 11:30 to 1:30 healthy choices sometimes. So when COVID asked us to shut down our salad bar, we really had to think about how to serve healthy food differently. And our team did a great job in that where our salad bar was, which is a huge platform, is now full of daily made to go salads. There are weekly salads, specials, recipes, you name it. So this helped solve our previous problem of our off-shift staff in that, you know, if we make up 100 salads, we can make up a little bit more and stock the cooler so that now our night shift have equal access to those great choices. So we'll definitely be continuing that. And then lastly, something that was pretty inspirational is we developed what we call our Hope Fund. And this was an employee-funded grant that allowed any employee that had been employed with us at least 90 days and budgeted at least half time, so at least 20 hours a week, to apply for a once every 2-year grant, no questions asked, if they found themselves in a place of hardship. And that was well utilized and just a great effort that as an organization in a time of need, it was just a great way to reinforce how we take care of one another. So that is definitely in the plans to continue moving forward.
That is great. Thank you, Sandy. And then we're going to finish with final question number 3, which is some of you have already addressed some of this. So if you have anything more to add, I'll read the question, put it in the chat box. And then this is also your chance to add anything else. Then we'll go back into breakouts and then come back all together for our closeout. So the last question is, describe 1 to 2 changes your organization made to employee wellness offerings in 2020 that you plan to continue. So this could be a change in the type of activities, mode of delivery, et cetera. And I know some of you already touched on this. So if you have anything to add, we'll start with Ashley.
Great. So one of the things that we changed, some we had in place, but we added and promoted a little better, were individual learning opportunities. So during the shutdown, we actually offered Zoom one-on-one sessions with a nutritionist and a personal trainer. People were able to sign up individually and work with them for, I believe, about 30 minutes a session. And that went really, really well and had great feedback. People were able to schedule it on their own time. So they were able to make those appointments. And it was so popular this spring, we've offered it again. And we've been getting great feedback from that. And we also, throughout the year, promoted webinars with some of our vendor partners, our telephonic health coaches, Invest EAP, as well as our Blue Cross Blue Shield, provided some great webinars for our people. And again, they were able to register and either listen to the recording or attend live. Some of the topics were stress, coping, anxiety, as well as some political tension workshops that were well received with some of our mindfulness instructors as well. And we offer online courses normally, but we added some. We have mindful nonviolent communication and some nutrition courses that are self-paced and people can access at any time and work through on their own pace. And those, again, were well received because it's just something that they can fit into their schedule when they can, as opposed to having it be rigid. And then I mentioned for the last question, our virtual trainings instead of our in-person conferences. And we have about 400 volunteers who work within the school districts. They help promote our program. And that's how, instead of our physical conferences, they did the virtual trainings instead. So they kind of knew what was new to the program and how things were going to be different this year. So our first change was definitely the individual learning opportunities. And then next, with those volunteers, we offer grant funding where we call them wellness leaders in their buildings, can use grant funds to either purchase items, promote programming, hold events, to get staff together. And because people weren't able to congregate in person, and just because everybody was really busy, we were noticing that the grant funds weren't being used. So we went back to how can we make this easier? So we developed 6 different kits where our leaders could apply for as many as they wanted. So some just did it by signups and others just ordered one for everyone in their building. And they could either offer it as a 30-day challenge where we gave them a tracker and made it a competition, or just as a desk drop where it was just kind of like a gift of appreciation, like, here, why don't you try this mindfulness exercise? So we had the 6 different kits. One of them was for stretching and mobility, where we had a stretching strap, a lacrosse ball, and handouts on how to use those. Sleep quality was a sleep journal, some lavender lotion, and a sleep mask with some more information on sleep hygiene, as well as a tracker. Happiness and gratitude, we did a path journal, and it was also like a coloring book. So we gave them some colored pencils, and it had some gratitude activities where they tried to write down 3 things they were grateful for each day. More Matters was a mason jar with a salad dressing insert, recipes and handouts on how to do some food prep where you can make salads for the week and stick them in your fridge if you stack them just right so they don't get soggy. And our friends at Blue Cross love those. And then we had a Mindfulness and Relaxation Kit, which was that spiky ball you see in the image there. It was for breathing exercises as well as a tangled toy. And then we had Strength, which was those resistance bands and a workout poster. So we like to target nutrition, musculoskeletal health, and mindfulness and emotional well-being. So these 6 kits kind of helped meet those needs, and they were really well received. We sent out over 3,500 kits in total to our participants, and all we've gotten is positive feedback. And even if they didn't do the challenge, people were just appreciative to kind of get a gift. And it was a great way to utilize our available funds and make it easier on our leaders to promote the programming.
Thank you, Ashley. That's great. We'll go to Sandy next. Anything more to add with changes to wellness offerings?
I'm learning that the perks of being the last speaker is you just say ditto. Yeah, I agree. The theme today is just how maybe at the start of COVID, we didn't think that virtual resources would be as effective as they are. And that was a powerful learning lesson. We did similar things. And I think we used to put a lot of preference on just that face-to-face interaction and the relationships that you have with that. And by sharing all of the resources now and being able to have all of these webinars on demand so that they're available to our 24/7 staff is definitely something that will continue moving forward. The other big change for us was we always had a chaplain on site. And historically, their primary scope was to serve the needs of our patient and their families. And this past year really helped us to expand that role so that our chaplain now sits on our employee wellness committee and actively sees employees on site on company time for free, completely anonymous, of course. But to formalize that role with our chaplain was a big improvement for us to support employee well-being, and that I'm happy to say will continue as well.
Thanks, Sandy. And then Karen, anything more to add for changes to employee wellness offerings?
So we've always given people an amount of money that they could spend on wellness, whether it's a ski pass, golf membership, and a new bike, things like that. This year we expanded it that people could use their money towards a stand-up desk for their home, dual monitors. We found as time went on, we got into 5-6 months into working remotely, there was a lot of eye fatigue because people were looking at laptops and not full-size monitors. And also we had stand-up desk in our office, and a lot of us, like me, like to stand more than sit, and not having one at home was a challenge. So we did allow people to purchase them and have them delivered to their homes. They submitted receipts. We gave them the money back. We also had people want ergonomic chairs, and we investigated, and people found ones they liked and chairs that fit them. And we allowed them to purchase those for their home as well, because we realized that it's going to be a hybrid model going forward. So it's really important for people to have the same tools they've got in the office in their home environment. And we even had people who needed like air cleaners. The air in their house was not, if they live in old homes, they're dusty, they were having more allergy problems. So we allowed them to purchase things like air cleaners for their homes, good ones, that did large areas. I think our other thing that we will continue going forward is our newsletter. We just did issue 52 for 52 weeks that we've been doing this. It's always had our recipes. It's had the links to everything going on in the office, but it also has links to online fitness classes that we encourage people to join. And I think coming up this year, plus we put recipes in there. People love the recipes. People are very creative with healthy recipes, and summer is coming and the gardens are coming, and people really like those. So I think it's really important that we continue doing that, especially how to use what's coming in people's gardens. That's the other thing, is we encourage people to do gardens last year for food, to get them outside. Gardening is actually an excellent source of exercise. It's a stress reducer. So whether they were doing flowers or food, most people grow food, but some people only have a small area and they just did flowers to make it relax them when they would go outside and see their flowers blooming. And we will continue to encourage people to do that and let them use their wellness money towards putting things in their garden. And the newsletter, like I said, is a big thing for us. We have water cooler chats, and we're thinking about hijacking one of those for an online impromptu 30-minute fitness yoga class that people can just join in. So.
That's great. I love hearing about the gardens. I'm going to start on mine this weekend. A quick resource, Vermont Community Garden Network is a great resource for anybody that is interested in gardening. And I don't know what they're doing for employee gardens right now, but they did have some great resources for employee gardens. So that is something worth exploring. We're going to go back out into breakout rooms. We may keep it a little bit shorter this time because I think some people did have to leave. So I'll bring you guys back in about 5 minutes. And the questions are in the chat box, questions 2 and 3, changes that you made to policies or other employee wellness offerings that you plan to continue. So I'm going to send you guys off and we'll come back together in about 5 minutes for a really quick closeout.
Can I just jump in real quick?
Oh, of
Ashwini?
course, yes.
I thought that I had shared my screen and apparently I did not click the right button. So these are the kits that I was talking about when I was not looking at my webcam. The stretching, mobility, sleep quality, happiness and gratitude, more matters, mindfulness and relaxation and strength. And a lot of the handouts and trackers were made in-house, but most of the supplies were purchased just from Amazon, local hardware stores, and a local vendor for the lavender lotion. So those were just a picture of the kits that I was referring to that I thought you could see. So as I mentioned, we shipped out about 3,500 kits to school employees and staff, and that's what we did there. So somebody had, I think it was Tim Berry, had asked about more information, and they were just resources that we already had, and we just kind of put tangible objects with them so they could be used as like a desk prop.
Thank you so much for that. I was going to make a note that we didn't see that picture, and then I forgot. All right, so 5 minutes. So thank you again to all of the presenters. That was just really, really great information. If anyone wants contacts for the presenters, I will provide that email if the 3 of you are okay with that. Emails in the follow-up when I send my follow-up email to everybody. I just wanted to do a quick photo slideshow to close us out. Just a little bit of a kind of view of what wellness looked like during the pandemic. So just give me 1 second. I'm going to share my screen. Get that up. And just get that going. Can everyone see that?
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
So as you can see, people were just all the work sites in Vermont, so creative, you know, taking measures to keep their employees safe and promoting, you know, emotional wellness, physical wellness. You heard from the presenters. I hope that you had some great conversations in your breakout rooms as well, of just things that took place that you may continue doing. And you know, we are really hoping for an in-person conference again in 2022. So you can stay tuned for the information that we have on what is coming next. If you have any feedback on themes that you would like to see in a future webinar series or a future in-person conference, you can always email those to me. And since we are running out of time for Q&A, if you did have any questions for the presenters, feel free to email those to me or put them in the chat box now. I'll send a copy of that chat transcript along to everybody. All right, so I think that is it. This wraps up our workshop series for now. Again, if you have themes you'd like to see in a future series, a future in-person conference, please send those along. Thank you, everybody. A big congratulations to all of the 2021 Worksite Wellness Award winners. Your certificates will be mailed out to you in the next month or so. Keep an eye out for those.
And
All
thank
right.
you, Ashwini, for making this happen this year, putting on this workshop series. I think it's been really valuable and really well received. Maybe a big wave and high and thank you, Ashwini, for all.
Thank you to the whole team that made this possible. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great summer.
Be well.
Thank you. Bye-bye.